What's up everyone, Brendan Lutz here with Transworld Motocross. We're out here at the Ranch Motocross Park testing out the 2012 KX250F. For 2012, Kawasaki refined this bike. They did a few internal modifications to the motor as well as adding dual fuel injection that helps with mid to top end pull of the bike. Out on the track, the motor on this bike when compared to last year's, it has a little bit more response down low, and like Kawi tried to improve on the bike, it does have really good mid and top end pull. This bike just dives into the corners here. The track is really super loamy in some of the turns here, and the bike dives in, doesn't lose any power, and all it takes is just a little tap of the clutch and you're powering right out of the corner again. Down the straightaways, the top end pull is noticeable. It continues to build power, and you just leave it in each gear and it uses all the gear, and you shift and it just continues to pull. So all in all, the motor on this bike is really good, and the small few changes that they did do to it, I did notice a difference over last year's bike. Just like the motor, Kawasaki kind of just took the route of refining the suspension on this machine. Last year they went to the new SFF fork, and I wasn't a huge fan of it last year. It was really springy and used up a lot of the stroke. When entering corners, it just dived through the stroke, and I just wasn't a huge fan of it. For 2012, they put stiffer springs on the front and rear and did some valving adjustments to both the shock and the forks, and overall it was a huge improvement over last year's bike. The bike stays more upright in the stroke over rough chop and over whoops, and it just makes it handle a lot better and stay more stable down straightaways. The track here today wasn't really rough, so I didn't really mess with the suspension that much, but I want to get to a track where it's a little rougher and really see how the fork and the changes to the fork and the shock work on a rougher track. A few of the little things on the bike that I liked, the brakes work really well. The front brake is really strong, makes it easy to dive into corners and keep the power on a little bit longer heading into the turns. One of the things that I'm not a huge fan of though are these grips. They're really hard. I mean, it's a simple thing to change. You can just throw on new grips when you get this bike, but it's just a little gripe that I have. They're a little hard and kind of tear up my hands, but other than that, this bike is a really good machine this year. We got quite a bit more testing to do on it at our local tracks around California here, so like I said, check out the next issue of Transworld Motocross for a more in-depth test on this bike.